Welcome to Rant Rave, the show that takes seemingly random topics and does the unthinkable with them. I am your host, Don Michaels. With me today, I have the JCrew, Keith Collins and Dennis Shanaberg?
Shanaberg, yeah.
Shanaberg. Gentlemen, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm really interested in learning more about you and what you guys are doing, and so forth, etc. So thanks for being on. It's really a pleasure.
Thank you.
So Keith, we'll start with you.
All right.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into filmmaking and so forth?
Actually, I got into filmmaking more as a stunt coordinator, fight choreographer, and one of the first films that I was a stunt coordinator for was called Contract Redemption. And I created fight scenes and kept everybody safe on the set of it. It's still due for release, and it's not out yet. And sort of after that, a lot of people started asking me to do a lot of fights and stunts, and then I ventured more into directing and cinematography.
That's very interesting. I'm working on writing a movie myself, and I might need a fight how do you say that?
Choreographer.
Very interesting. How about you, Dennis? What got you into the business?
I started like a lot of people did, making stupid videos in junior high school. Kind of worked from there, got really into it. My high school had a program for filmmaking, and then I was able to move into Cleveland State, where I got my degree. And then I started working with the JCrew about a year back, I want to say. Last summer. It's only been a year. Wow.
But it seems longer, though.
Yeah. But yeah, I worked with Johnny's team. I started as a production assistant, kind of not knowing entirely what I was doing, but I've kind of worked my way through. Got to doing some camera work. I did camera work for the last two 48 projects that we did, and now I'm going to be directing this year. So it's been a crazy year.
Sounds interesting. Two things you said real quick is, what sort of films? You said you did stupid films in school. What kind of films did you do?
Oh, we don't want to talk about those. We had a camcorder, like one of those ones that had like a half VHS tape in it. That you had to have like the full VHS tape. You put it in. It was awful. And so we just like would do like improv kind of just ridiculous things, and then I would always give them plots that were impossible to do, and so I started out just shooting for the stars, and didn't really hit them, but still working on it.
Okay. Now you guys call yourself the JCrew.
Yes.
My question to you is, the JCrew kind of sounds like a rap group. Now,
Kinda is,
where did you guys come up with this name, the JCrew?
Johnny came up with the name because almost everybody in our crew's name starts with a J.
Except for us.
Except for
But
you two,
they
okay.
added the J's in for us, so we're like J. Keith.
And J. Dennis.
Right.
Yeah. Like our opening title, you'll actually see like all the names go past, and the ones that don't have J's have like a little
J's,
J
right.
apostrophe in their name.
Right.
Now, you've mentioned Johnny several times. Who is Johnny?
Johnny Woo.
Johnny Woo, okay.
Johnny Woo, he's a filmmaker here in Cleveland, and he had brought us aboard to be a part of the JCrew because we'd helped on other projects with him.
Okay.
Trace, his fan web series, a Doctor Who fan web series. We were on the set, and I actually acted in that and was a stunt coordinator as well.
Okay.
And when he came to us and said, "Hey, we want to do a 48 team. Do you want to be a part of the 48 team?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Like, let's go for it." And at that point, he was like, "What are we going to call ourselves?" And then everybody started saying their names. He was like, "The JCrew. That's what we are."
And it was just that quick. Okay. The JCrew.
And now we
I'll
live in
remember
infamy.
that. Okay, great. Now, Dennis, you mentioned that you have a degree. Now, do you have a degree in filmmaking?
Mm-hmm. It's a digital media degree, so it's more towards kind of like we had a little bit more in the broadcast, but Cleveland State's film program, they have kind of both of those avenues you can take. So
okay, great.
They're actually starting film school. I want to say
it's going to be a few years, I think, before, but they're going to have a studio downtown and everything. It's going to be a pretty big deal.
Well, Cleveland's kind of becoming a town where where Hollywood's coming in here and doing a lot more filming. And,
Yeah.
You know, you guys have any inside information on that or anything?
Nothing
or?
we can disclose. No, it's growing. We do have a lot more productions coming here, and I think there's a big push within like Cleveland itself to try and grow that community, which is big because we have a lot of. I mean, we know a lot of people too who are doing it, and that work coming in will be good for us. So.
There's a lot of talent in Cleveland that's
A
not
lot
been
of talent.
exposed.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that also. So why don't we talk a little bit about you guys' past films? What kind of films have you guys done?
Mostly for me, action.
Okay.
Like I've done a lot of action films, a lot of action shorts, and a few horror films sprinkled in there from time to time.
What draws you to the action?
I've been a martial artist all my life, so
Okay.
that was just something I wanted to do. I mean, you watch Jackie Chan films and Chuck Norris, and
So you're telling me don't mess with you? I'm like getting shot upside the head, basically.
That is scary.
Yeah, that's pretty much why. It was just like I watched action movies all my life. I've been in martial arts all my life. I'm a black belt. That's just what I.
What type of karate?
Kaji Kempo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not familiar with it. Interesting. Interesting. How about you, Dennis? What drives you?
I'm a little newer to the game than Keith is, so a lot of the stuff I've done's been more so like I've worked on some film sets. Most of the stuff I've made's been to make money. So I've done like some commercial work, some like things for startups and a few Kickstarter campaigns, stuff like that. I have some scripts that I want to make, so I'm working towards that. One is I like comedy, but kind of like dark comedy. So I'd like to get into making some things along those lines of I like when there's like a melding of genres. So you have comedy mixed with some drama and action and all that. So.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. That's great. Gentlemen, we need to take a quick break. Do you guys have a few minutes to stick around?
Oh yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Right after this break, we're going to find out if these two gentlemen sleep during the filming of the 48. Watch this clip from JCrew.
Foam plates are bulletproof in the sun.
That's what the comedian says.
Welcome back with my guest, Keith and Dennis, the JCrew, or part of the JCrew.
Right.
So, gentlemen, with some other guests that we have, we're doing this series, as you well know, and you guys are part of it, and again, thank you. But do you guys get any sleep when you're doing this? And I know you said earlier you kind of whip through some of these films, but I mean, is that the reality of it, or are you guys?
The short answer, yes.
I mean, if we choose to. Some of us
Right.
are dumb and pull nighters for no reason. But
Like,
Okay.
no, we try to have it so organized that like we get sleep and we wake up and we're just gone. You know what I mean? Once it's time.
Okay.
We usually get up early, but nonetheless, we usually, I'd say on average, get about 8 hours of sleep.
yeah, like if
So
you
just a normal night then?
Yeah, like by the time, I say for average, sort of what we, and talking from the very first one, when we left and got our genre, we already knew, like, all right, this is where we're going to go. We had a story. We had our story. Once we had our story, Dennis, me, Steve, and one of our other guys on our team started writing.
Okay.
At that same time that it was getting written, we started coming up with how we were going to shoot it immediately. So we went to the location. So we had a group writing, a group goes to the location, and we literally started blocking how we were going to shoot it.
Okay.
We converged everything back together. We created a fight scene because we decided we were going to go with some action within it.
Okay.
And right after that, I want to say that was 4 hours. You
About
literally
4
were
hours, yeah.
we're done with the script.
You concepted it. I think we
Yeah.
wrote in the dialogue. We kind of got the nitty gritty in, and then you, as we were kind of filling in that stuff, you were working on the coming up with shot list stuff like that.
And then because we knew when we were going in, we created our own little challenge. We wanted to get it all done in one shot. We wanted to see.
So
if
you
we
guys
could
are
pull it off in one
challenging
shot.
yourselves
yeah,
within
of
the
course.
challenge itself.
Right.
Okay.
So,
48, we gotta step it up from just doing it in 48 hours.
Okay.
So when we practiced, after we knew what they were going to say, we practiced with a cell phone, the actual motions of it. And literally, like I said, by midnight, we had everything done and script done, and we emailed it to the actors. And then after that, we went to sleep.
Okay.
Next
And
day, we
we-
got it done in 3 hours to shoot, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was done in 3 hours. We got there at 8 o'clock. Did we get there at 8 o'clock? Yeah, we got there at 8 o'clock. And we were practically finished by 11:30. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
We literally
So 3.5 hours of filming.
Yeah, we had everything worked smoothly. Everything was mapped out. Once we got to the action, it really flew.
So for someone out there that has never done this and is interested in doing it, like myself, really the whole key is the organization.
I would say it's organization, but it's also actually collaborating and working as a team.
I think it's
Okay.
largely a mentality kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because part of why I think our group works so quickly, because we've thought about it, we've tried dissecting it almost as
Yeah.
we work together well. There's no divas, there's no
Yeah.
people who are trying to one up each other.
What happened, even when I was thinking about when we wrote the story, it was sort of oh, we have this idea, start writing, then somebody else would be hey, wouldn't it be cool if this, and you'd be that is a good idea, and it would just, we'd keep running with those things. It wasn't no, that's dumb and we shouldn't do that. And
Yeah.
we didn't have any arguments. We didn't have any weird, tiffs or somebody was
It's just
that just never
collaborative.
happened. Yeah,
It's
everything
people
was very
getting
collaborative.
along, making a thing, and doing it.
Yeah.
It's great.
So
Drama free, basically.
yeah, it was
that's
pretty. We didn't have what was the biggest drama.
I don't think we had.
Exactly.
I really can't think.
I can't really think of anything. And even by the horror 48, what I say the biggest drama was the fog machine stopped working.
Yeah,
Like-
and we
Right,
we
okay.
worked with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it too. Is one of the things I've heard a lot of on different 48-hour shoots is there's a lot of people are panicking. You only have 48 hours to get it done, so they keep pushing themselves to move quicker. Whereas we set a pace, we hold to that pace. If something goes wrong, we work past it and just
yeah.
keep going. We at the 48, fog machine stopped working. We had this ghost lady in part of it, and she was supposed to come out of the fog. She doesn't need to come out of the fog. Get rid of the fog machine. We keep going.
Yeah,
Right,
It just changed the shot
Improvise,
pattern.
right.
And I think that's part of us. The other thing too is we've all worked together for a bit, and so we can play off of each other. When the fog machine stopped working, one person figured one thing, the other person built off of that, and we all kind of just worked together.
Because we
from
were
that.
I think even on that 48, the horror 48, we were supposed to chop off a head.
We did to an extent.
We tried. We tried it. And we realized, okay, no, it's going to be a throat
slip. That's
because it was once we realized, all right, chopping off the head is going to take this many hours to render. We're not going to make it. Let it go.
You know what? That brings up a good question. Because that's really the nuts and bolts of filming and production and editing. How do you really make it look like someone's head got chopped off? Because they do. It looks real. How do you do that?
I think there's just many ways to do it. I think
some are camera tricks. Some
Yeah.
you do in VFX.
the way we were probably going to do that we probably planned on doing it as a VFX type of deal.
Now,
And,
what is a VFX?
visual effects. So what we were gonna do was have his head a green screen hood on, and
Okay.
practice it in two different ways, get a clean plate. But the problem was we knew that rendering time with that effect was going to eat into our time of getting it done in time.
Okay.
So we had to scrap it.
And the shot we replaced it with was hilarious, so it worked out
it
for
worked
the
out.
better.
It worked
He goes, it's a really cocky kind of character, and the way he goes down is, I mean, you'd have to see it, but it is hilarious.
Yeah.
Now, where can we find some of your past work at?
Sheesh.
Is it MDI Film? Is
MDI
that the
Film. Yeah, it's on YouTube. I want to say MDI Film. I have past work on 3digitalrockstudios.com or 3digitalrock.com. And
Me, you can find some of my work, I think, vimeo.com/Denberg. That's DENBERG.
Okay.
I've artfully crafted it from the beginning of my first name and the end of my last name. It's creativity at its finest.
Excuse me. That's great. All right, so what kind of advice do you guys have, since you obviously have some experience and so forth, et cetera,
Do
for
everything.
people that are getting into this?
Do everything you
mean-
can, I'd say.
What does that exactly mean, do everything you can?
I mean, like, I started on with the JCrew. I mean, part of it's getting to know people and working with people. It was a couple, Steve Morgan and Joe Yost, they both had worked with the JCrew on Trace. I wasn't on that, although Joe constantly remembers me being there.
yeah, I think it's
But-
because you feel like you should be there. Like, that's why.
So they brought me on, and I was just a production assistant. That's kind of like entry level. But because I worked with them, I got used to all this equipment. And part of it's throwing yourself out there. Like, if they need help with something, you do it. And
Okay.
I mean, I'm directing this year. I mean, that's a big move, and it's because I kept on doing everything I could. And I've been working on other stuff. So I think it's really like you gotta put yourself out there, make everything you can, be on everything you can, and when people are there to give you advice, give you help, like they want to bring you onto something, do it. Do everything you can, and do everything you can to do everything you can.
I would say to piggyback off of what you said, it's just check your ego at the door.
Oh
Check
yeah.
your ego at the door?
Yeah, like, you know, you come in and think of more as a team, a collaboration. Like, I didn't come in when I was going to be director. I didn't go in like, yeah, I'm the director. Listen to me. You
Right,
know, like,
right.
It was like, oh, I'm the director. All right, I organized everything the best I could. And if somebody gave a good idea, listen to a good idea. That's what they're for. You know what I
right.
mean?
It's a
It's the whole
team.
point of being a team. You can't
Right.
finish this without a team.
Oh
Right.
yeah, like
You know?
it's a collaborative atmosphere.
yeah.
Like this year with the directing, my director of photography is someone I've worked with a lot of times, and our whole crew, like we've all worked together, and I think that's a huge part of it too, is finding a group of people that you work well with.
Okay.
I think like beyond just for the 48, like just filmmaking in general, it's all about who you're working with, and people like to work with people they like.
And have a good time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Just don't. That's I think one thing we took into it. We were like, we're gonna have fun. Let's have fun.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people take it a little more seriously
Right.
than they should.
Right.
If you take it serious, it really
Producer, did you hear
messes
that?
you up.
Take it so damn serious.
But yeah, you know, just have fun with it.
Right. Now, you guys sound both relatively new, a couple years experience each, basically, or
I've been doing this since about 2012,
2012, 10,
Yeah.
2000. So you 6, 7 years experience, so forth. Same with you, Dennis?
I mean, I've been in some vein or another. I've been doing this for a while. I just think it's more seriously over the past year, and a lot of that's been, I mean, just working with the JCrew kind of helped get me going, and
Okay.
having a degree helps too. But
I'm sure it does. Have you guys had any awards or anything like that given to you yet so far? Best actor, or director, anything?
I've got a couple awards for action films for the oh my gosh, Indie Gathering Film Festival.
Oh, okay.
So I have a couple there, and I have a couple from the Horror Hotel Film Festival, which is actually going to be next weekend.
No.
Actually,
Oh, yeah.
and
We have
we're- which
something.
yeah, we have a film, a Johnny Woo film that's going to play there as well, called Wuxia.
Okay.
It's going to premiere there next weekend.
it's a karate movie.
Yeah.
Now, we've mentioned Johnny Woo a couple of times. Can you guys tell me a little bit more about Johnny Woo? And I know we can find him. You can Google him in Cleveland, and he's
Everywhere.
everywhere. But you guys obviously personally know him and have worked with him.
what is there to say?
How do you say?
Like,
How do you talk about Johnny Woo?
he's the woo man.
He's the woo man.
He's sort of like he's like our filmmaking dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He makes sure he takes care of us. He's grooming us up to be better filmmakers. And he cares about like our projects and what we do. I mean, he's like the big brother, like, of the group. Like, when we're doing something, he's like, "Oh, did you do this? Did you take care of this?" Like, he's making sure we're taken care of.
Yeah,
You know what
I
mean,
think Dad's pretty apt,
But,
like, because he does take that father figure on set sometimes.
Yeah.
Like but he's also like I mean, the fact that even like me and like the other people I've mentioned, like each one of us, he's brought into the JCrew, and then he's kind of helped us build upon. Most of us started out towards kind of starting out, and a lot of us have progressed very far just since we've started with Johnny Woo, which has been great.
Now, is he actually on set during the filming, or is he editing?
He's
or
typically on set, making sure everything just runs smooth.
Kind of like almost like I wouldn't say he's not always a producer, but he still has a producer role.
Yeah, he always feels like he's a producer because he's really like making sure like everybody's doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah,
but
which is important,
right? But it's not like
it's not authoritative.
Yeah.
But he's assertive, not aggressive.
Keith, in 3 words, sum up the film festival for me. How do you succeed?
3 words.
3 words.
Just do it.
Just do
Just
it.
do it.
There you go, Dennis.
It's fun, man.
Yeah.
Keith, Dennis, JCrew, it has been a pleasure to have you guys on the show. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure the people out there have as well. Hopefully this message will convey to more people and get more people involved here locally in Cleveland, like myself, and maybe I can find a really good producer. Maybe I can jump on the Johnny Woo train. I'm not sure. But no, it's been a real pleasure, and I thank you guys for taking the time to come out and share us, with your message and so forth, etc. So,
Thanks.
Thank you.
my pleasure, friend. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Now what? That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap.
That's what she said.